Hello again, my friends. This is Dr. Adli Abouzeedan, the man behind the PSAM movement. And as I said before, PSAM, which is Penta Santa Maxima, stands for the five core or five pillars or five core values that we believe in. And we believe that if the people absorb these values in their lives and try to live according to them, we will be creating a far better world. And in the last session episode number 2, I talked about uh, our vision and our mission. This I'll start from this episode, which is number 3. I'll start talking about these five core values, and I repeat them. They are humanism, morality, purity, unity, and truth. And I'll talk in this episode about humanity or humanism. Not a humanity, excuse me, humanism. Humanism, morality, purity, unity, and truth. What we mean by humanism is simple. We mean that there is only one race, which is the human race. Uh, we are all Homo sapiens. We are all one race. And the differences between us in color and in other aspects, differences in culture, all that things should never really make us forget this. And the more we stick to our humanism, the more we feel our belonging to humanity and act out of the humanistic view in life, and feeling that we are all one group, which are the humans, then we really can do a lot of good in life. And a lot of times, because of normality of life, we really tend to feel that we belong to certain religion, to certain nation, to certain idea system. But in difficult times, in hard times, our humanity, manifests itself in different ways. And I'll give two examples to prove to you that in depth, in our deepest conscience, we really are belonging to one race, which is the human race. And there is no other thing, all these other things like nationality, religion, idea system are external kind of clothes. We can take it out without really being impacted. But our build up as a humans is a very homogeneous in its nature, and the challenges we face as a one race, as a human race, is really the same. Uh, in normal days of life, we tend to forget that, but uh, in times of crisis, that shows itself brilliantly, actually, and it really shows and tell us that we really one race, which is the human race, regardless of these artificial differences between us. And I'll talk about uh, two things. I'll talk about a general behavior that happens when we face problems, uh, and I'll make an example for you to understand. Imagine that we are flying an airplane, and suddenly the captain of the airplane tells us that we are having trouble. The airplane is shaking, and there is danger. Uh, what happened is that our humanity really float to the surface. We put our hands and calm the person who's sitting beside us in the chair, even if we did not speak with him through all the journey, and we just try to calm him down, and help him or her. The troubles and the difficulties make us feel human, and take the things in our humanity and kind of elevate it. We don't ask the people around us in a case of crisis, of which religion they are, or which country they come from, or what is their idea system, or whether they are men or women, to help them. We act spontaneously. We try just to support them. Because these other belongings suddenly lose its meaning against the common danger. President Reagan one time said something during the height, the last period of the Soviet Union, the era of the Soviet Union and the Cold War. I think, I don't know if that was in Washington or in Moscow, but he had a meeting with the maybe Gorbachev, I think the last presidents of the Soviet Union, and he said something of of great meaning when he said that I am assuring you that he was talking about the relationship between Russia and the United States, and he said that I'm assuring to you that if at one day there was an alien invasion to the Earth, planet Earth, we would be forgetting all our differences and unite together in order to repulse that danger. And this is true. It's true. Because we will then act as humans. We will then act as people who have this common ground of humanity and humanism. And the more you give of that feeling to other people, the more you really love all humanity. The more you love people who are different than you, and express your love to them, the more will be able as a humanity to meet the challenges that is facing us, and the more we are able really to fight evenness and solve our problems in this planet Earth, because all humanity has only one home, which is planet Earth. We don't have different homes. We have only one home, which is this great planet that is sustaining our life. And as we know, it is the only planet that we really can live on with the minimum constraints on us. This is our ship. Planet Earth is our ship. And if we quarreled and fought each other to the point of the destruction of this planet, then we don't have any other place to go. So our destiny is the same, and that have to be well implemented in our minds. And I personally witnessed in my life situations where I saw this humanism in individuals show itself in the most magnificent way. I'll share with you a story that happened to me a long time ago, and it really impacted my heart. That was 1982. The summer of 1983. I was in a visit to some European countries. At that time, I was working at Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research in Kuwait, and I wanted really to take a vacation. So I planned a vacation to Europe, and I visited a couple of countries. And one of the countries I wanted to visit is Romania. So I went into the country. I planned a short visit, 3-4 days. I was not aware at that time of the situation in Romania, but it was, in the 80s, it was the beginning of the crisis that was engulfing the eastern countries, which led later on to the collapse of the Soviet Union in the 90s. I came to the capital, Bucharest, and I wanted, I wanted to save money, so I wanted to buy food myself, and also I was searching for restaurants to eat. There was no food in the country. I could not find a place to find food. The only thing which was available was the beer. People were very nervous. They were quarreling for the smallest things. The whole atmosphere was full of hate and fear. And I was really stunned. It was amazing experience. And I remember I went to the guy who was in the reception in the hotel. I told him I'm not finding food. I cannot find any food. Uh, and he said he told me you will not find food anywhere because the country is really collapsing. But he gave me an address. He told me that you go there and you will find what you want. So I took a bus. It drove about for half an hour until we reached one of the districts, at the edge of Bucharest, uh, which was very luxury, very nice houses. And then the bus stopped at one of the places, uh, and then I looked, and it looked like a store. I went into the store. I find everything, the most delicious food in the world. Everything was there. So I made my grocery, and I went back to the hotel and asked the guy, "What is that?" And he told me that this store is meant for the Communist Party only, the members of the Communist Party, and they allowed you to go in because you're tourists. Otherwise, it's not allowed for us. And I tell you, I felt very angry, really very angry. I felt sympathy with the poor people in Bucharest at that time, and I felt a despise, a disrespect for people who are willing to live this kind of life while their fellow men and fellow women are dying in the streets. So I saw tyranny in very closely. Uh, Anyhow, I spent the 2 days, and then I wanted to leave. On the way, I wanted to leave to Bulgaria, and when I wanted to cross Bulgaria, for some reasons, the Romanians stopped me. I think it has to do with my refusal because they wanted me to bribe them, and in my naive thinking, I resented that, and it seems that they got mad with me. So they wanted to teach me a lesson, and they put me in a cell for a couple of hours, for maybe half an hour. And I was a young man. I really started crying because the whole thing was really shocking to me. And then they sent me to the Bulgarian borders. Uh, the Bulgarians became suspicious because they did not understand why I'm walking, because they wanted me to walk to Bulgaria. And suddenly I find myself on the Romanian Bulgarian borders. I cannot get into the Bulgaria because the Bulgarians refused to get me into Bulgaria, and the Romanians refused to get me into Romania again. So I was stuck on the border, uh, with about 1 meter in between. It was summer, but it was very cold. I did not have heavy clothes with me. I did not plan for that, and start really shaking of the cold. Uh, I tried to talk to somebody from the Romanian side, And the guy told me, you have to wait until the officer who put me in this, who made the troubles, who, uh, what happens is that the officer who really put me in that room left, and there was another officer coming on, will be coming again. And the guy told me that, this other officer will decide what to do with me. But I have to stay on my place. So I stayed for about 2 hours, starting from about, from around 11 to about 1 or 2 in the night. I was standing for 2 hours. I was standing there, and I start really feel terrible because it's very cold, and I had very light clothes on me. There was, that is what I want to tell you about. Uh, there was a guard who was standing on the Romanian border, over the Romanian side of the borders, uh, and he had a cup of coffee with him, and he was looking at me. As I told you, after a while, I really started shaking. It was terrible. I remember that night. It's implanted in my conscience up till now. The guy after 15 minutes, 20 minutes, he really started worried about. He was looking at me in my desperate situation, and then, without saying a word, he came to me and he just extended the cup of coffee to me. And I tell you, my friends, it was and will be always the best cup of coffee I ever had in my life. I was in desperate need of something to keep me warm, and that guy gave me that cup of coffee. Now, what makes that cup of coffee very special is not because I was cold, no, because I knew how hard for this poor man in that situation that I saw in Romania at that time to be able to get a cup of coffee to warm himself. He decided to give it to me despite his need for it and despite the effort that probably went for him to get it. And I will never forget this. His humanism, his belonging to human race surfaced, and he acted as a noble human being. I don't know his name, I don't know who he is, but if I've ever met him or his children, I'll be proud to present him an honor of respect. And I'll never forget that. I drank thousands of cups of coffees and millions of cups of coffees after that, but nothing tasted so delicious as that cup of coffee has tasted and is still tasted. Well, I mean, I feel the taste of it in my mouth now. What did force this guy to do this? There's nothing. This is not his duty. He's a guard. He is guarding the borders, and he doesn't need at all to engage with me or at least feel sorry for me. And in a country where everything was collapsing, after a while, the new officer came, and the guard recalled me. I sat down with the officer and explained the thing to him, and he laughed because he knew that what happened to me was just a personal act from the officer before him, because he got mad on me because I did not want to convert to leave my dollars, because they asked me about the dollars. They wanted money, basically. And this noble guy, the officer, told me, "We are sorry. I'm very sorry for what happened to you." And he gave me a return visa. He allowed me to come back to Romania, but he told me, "You have to leave in 24 hours because I don't want to get in trouble." I said, "Okay, no, I just go back to Bucharest and I'll take the plane next day." And I did that. And this story is always one of the stories I use to tell the people, that within every one of us there is really true belonging to humanity, and there is true humanism in that. And sometimes we don't act out of that because of the normality of life. But in situations that good side of us, this belonging to the whole of the humanity really surfaced. And I tell you one thing, I did not exchange any word with that guard. He did not speak English. We could not communicate. But you know, I knew what he wanted. For example, when he told me to come in, he did not say any word when he gave me the cup of coffee. But I saw it in his eyes. I saw respect. I saw love. I saw true coupling to my humanity and his humanity. Two individuals who totally cannot communicate in any way, but their humanism and their humanity really bridged their words. And that's one example. These things happen every day. These things happen in many parts of the world. These things happening every time we go around in life. What is important that our belonging to humanity and our humanism should always be our guiding principles in acting in life. We should always put that as the highest thing we belong to. And the Prime Minister of New Zealand, in the moment of call, when the situation occurred, her humanism surfaced and became the power and the force that is guiding her actions. And that is what is required from us. We need always to elevate our humanism and our feeling of belonging to the same race, the human race, and never let our other belongings be at any moment higher or be placed higher than our belonging to humanity and our humanism. So that is the first pillar or the first core value of our 5 core values. And with that, I leave you. And I don't think I will be recording more today. I have other things to do. So I will keep talking about these core values, and then I'll talk about other things. This is Dr. Adli Abouzeedan, the guy who started the PSMA movement. And or we have another name for it, which is the Ilahinic movement. I'll explain more what that term means, but it is a term that we use to call ourselves. We call ourselves the Ilahins, and it refers to our belief in these core values. So we call our movement the Ilahinic movement, which is ELAHEEN. This is the word Ilahin, ELAHEEN, and the adjective will be ELAHEANIC, or the PSAM network. PSMA network is the abbreviation of Penta Santa Maxima. At the end of this episode, I greet you with the way we wish to greet everybody, every human on this planet. We greet you with love and peace, and hope for the best for you in this day and the coming days. And you can be one of our members. I mean, maybe the one who's listening to this episode is already an Ilahin or one of our network, members of network, and you can be another person who is not really belonging to the network. In both cases, you are welcome, and I hope you benefit from this material. And I'll be leaving an email address in the information under the YouTube and you can communicate with me, and you can ask me any question, and try to answer it. Again, this is Dr. Ali Abouzeedan, welcoming you and greeting you with love and peace, and best wishes of good and happy life. And thank you for listening.